Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the December 8th edition of the AM Show, hosted live on AlphaMint's live stage Discord. I am your host, R2DGen, and I am joined with me by the incredibly hungover free market capitalist.
Hey, now.
You
Yeah,
were
loud noise was not good this morning. I was
loud.
drinking in the middle of the day yesterday.
I was of such a proud father yesterday when you called me at 12 o'clock and I had already finished half a bottle of champagne.
For
Um,
those of you that don't know, I am not a big drinker. Not that I can't drink, but I tend to look for other ways to relax. And yesterday, I just had some reason to celebrate. Midday, something that Alpha Mint will find out eventually. It's NFT related, but we're going to keep it under wraps for now. Just my hangover could contribute to some strange takes today, so be ready.
Oh, well, I mean,
Is that
yeah, exactly.
different?
I was gonna say, like, are you hungover every day? Is there something I don't know? Like, do you want to talk about it?
All right.
No.
All right.
Well, that's good. Yeah, yesterday was a weird day. It was I think pretty much just dominated by people in the voice chat trying to, bash their head against the keyboard figuring out Syn City. And every time it felt like some kind of breakthrough was made, it was just shot down in spectacular fashion. And we're going to talk about that a little bit later in the show about how much is too much and whether or not it's worth it. And I think there's a case for both, but yeah, I think we can just jump right in. Yesterday was pretty much to the sideways in terms of crypto trading action. I don't know if you had your ears to the ground with anything going on there, but Bitcoin kind of fluttering around the 50,000 mark, Ethereum sticking around the 4,400 mark, which makes me incredibly bullish. And I think the further that dip kind of washes out in terms of the amount of days passed, the better we got to feel about it.
Watch that ratio, man. People talk about the flippening, and you sound like a crazy conspiracy theorist when you say it's actually going to happen. But I do think that ratio is going to hit new all-time highs here. As Bitcoin's usefulness is known. It's worth a lot of money. It can consolidate here. It will be worth more money eventually, but I think that the value is understood there.
You're
Whereas
talking in market
Ethereum,
cap terms, right?
in market cap
Yeah.
terms, yeah. Whereas Ethereum right now is largely potential, right? Like people know what it can do. People think they know what it's gonna do, but it's yet to do it. So I think that that ratio is going to be something to watch here, certainly over the next 6 months.
Yeah, is it what is the flippening? Is it
There's two.
0.18?
There's price and cap, right? Like I think
I
that
can't see the price ever flipping it. Are you going there? Is that where we're going this morning?
ever you said it'll flip. Ethereum's going to 100K, and I don't think Bitcoin will be $1 million when that happens.
What? But the price won't flip in then.
No, I'm saying it won't be. I think that there will be a
Oh,
price, a nominal dollar price flipping at some point as well.
interesting. I think I would
I will
take
take
that. I
that.
think that I would take that bet with you, but not to downplay any Ethereum, but I mean, I don't know that I would actually take the bet in terms of market cap, or I don't think I'd be super bullish on it. But yeah, interesting. I will hold that in my back pocket. We'll touch on that again later.
We'll come up with a good wager for that one when Ethereum hits 10,000 and everyone's super bulled up and on my side, because we know what happens a week later. Kapoo!
You were so far right about Clone X, despite the fact that it hasn't revealed yet.
I thought
Um,
it was so funny that day that right after I won the bet, it just started leaking like point one every hour. And I was like, it's gonna dip under three, isn't it? Is it? No, but it held at 3.1, but it dipped from 3.5 to 3.1. I said, oh, the poetic justice here. But
Beautiful.
okay,
But
beautiful.
did you ever end up getting that pass? Did it show
Uh,
up?
Yeah, he bought it. I believe it should show up soon.
Oh,
He
I
sent
got.
it. He sent it at 5 Gwei, so
Yeah,
we're waiting
that's
for
what we were
that
joking. It was
to.
like, I'm gonna send it to you. I'm not sure if it'll ever get there though, but like, blame FedEx. Don't blame me. I
It's
shipped
snail
it.
mail. It's snail mail. It's all right.
Yeah, for
Until
sure.
he said when Evo snails hit 1.2,
Yeah.
he'll speed up the transaction.
Oh God, that's that might be a tall order, but all right, let's let's move on. Some fun news in cryptocurrency is the CIA confirms the rumors. It really is working on cryptocurrency projects. The CIA may not have invented Bitcoin as conspiracy theorists claim, but it runs several cryptocurrency projects, says director William Burns. This is
Oh,
beautiful. I mean,
oh
it's
man, I
always
mean
been a joke. It's always been an inside thing, and lo and behold, it does not surprise me in the least that it is true. But which
if it
ones we're
wasn't
talking
true,
about is
if it wasn't true, and he said it anyway, it's the most brilliant troll of all time. I mean, it's pretty much all that the government would have to do to strike fear into the heart of all these decentralized idiots.
yeah,
Um,
it's some of those like privacy coins, Monero, and they're just like
and
sitting back laughing hysterically at the table.
that's what I was gonna say.
Like
If
that
you
Ray
want me
Liotta
to
meme in a casino or Goodfellas, whatever one it is. Yeah.
yeah, gun to my head, if the CIA started anything at Zcash, just that is totally my bet. If the CIA is in this, but it was quite the parlor game after this news bit came out to guess which crypto projects the CIA was running. And there were quite a few funny answers, but it was the talk of the time. This seems pretty obvious. I would think most governments are not only interfering with current crypto in a psyops and black ops fashion, but also trying to make their own, as they definitely see it as a threat. We know China certainly does and talks about making their own digital currency quite often.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's been confirmed that they operate a lot of like VPN nodes. They operate a lot
Hmm.
of exit points on like Tor network. Like Tor isn't
Right,
nearly as
right.
secure as it used to be because they control so much of it that they know the ins and outs of it at this point too. So, not surprising in the least. If I had this on 2021 bingo, it would have been dead center as the freebie. Like if there was something that was obvious, it just seems like it was this. But funny that they came out and finally just said it. So I saw a
My
lot of
favorite guess was Safe Moon. People were like, "Oh yeah, Safe Moon
safe
is
moves.
definitely CIA, 100%."
Oh yeah, it was somebody was saying BitBoy was definitely a CIA op as well. So that again maybe not exactly news in a sense, but a lot of fun was being had with it on Twitter. And if we ever know what they are, I'm sure it'll be the end of those cryptos. But who knows? We'll see.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, if it was found out, it would be because people do not want to be involved with the CIA. But I'm not convinced it wasn't just a troll. Are they
Well, hey,
interfering and building things? Sure. I don't know if this is like which one of the big cryptos do we use on a daily basis being run by the CIA. I don't know. Maybe I'm being naive.
I bet there's one of them. I bet it's fucking Wolf Game Man.
Yeah, that'd be it. That'd be their entry. See, I've always said NFTs are the Trojan horse for mass adoption.
The Trojan horse for the CIA, apparently.
Yeah.
Right in your wallet. No, I have no idea what they're in, and I never will, I'm sure. Other kind of bullish news: Australian government to bring crypto out of the shadows, as though it's in the shadows, with new regulatory framework. The Australian government is forming new regulatory framework that would broaden the definition of what crypto services can be regulated. Now, that does sound kind of ominous, but the article does go on to shed it in a positive light in that Australia is kind of looking to be world leading in terms of their adoption of crypto. In terms of countries that I wouldn't mind being incredibly crypto friendly, Australia is probably one of them, despite the fact that every living creature on that island is trying to kill you. But a beautiful place.
Australia seems like the most competent government and incompetent government at the same time. They somehow
I'm glad you
strike
fixed
this.
that because I was like, ask any Australian, I bet they'll disagree.
Yeah,
But yeah, go
they
on.
strike this incredible balance of some programs and initiatives that are kind of revolutionary and the entire world should adopt, but then the rest of it is just a mess. So I am also heartened by this news. I think we are going to see a wave of these type of announcements from first and third world countries all over the world over the next few years. So I'm glad Australia is bending the knee to the crypto gods.
Yeah, well, I mean, we've said it a bunch of times. You know, you can vote with the ballot, vote with your money, and vote with your feet. And if you have a lot of money and your government doesn't want you to have that money, then you get to vote with your feet, and that's when you go to a country that does want your money. So it is really just a domino effect that once it starts happening, I can't see it stopping. Especially because the world governments don't really have any incentive to align on these matters. There's always going to be one country that's like, no, come on in.
Yeah, compet of course. I mean, it is a race to the bottom, essentially. You even saw it in China as China was developing. They had 5% capital gains tax over there. I mean, that's very attractive when you come from a Western country. And this now Vietnam is the one that's offering these incredible manufacturing incentives. And next it'll be Nigeria. And it's always, in a sense, a race to the bottom as far as countries willing to make concessions to attract business. Always going to be a case.
Yeah, it is exciting. And it'll be interesting to watch the developments coming out of Australia because if they end up going like very, 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 very crypto favorable, like I don't think that they're going to be making it legal tender anytime soon. But yeah, it could be a pretty big deal. So
Yeah. Oh, look. I mean, that they're huge. Australian dollar is a mainstay on forex markets. This is big news.
awesome. Let's check out WGMI real quick and jump into the NFTs if you're good with that. WGMI added another column to their tracking chart, and this is 30-day change and 30-day floor.
Ooh.
So a little bit of a broader term. I actually like this. I kept clicking on the 1 day, and I was like, this just kind of feels dirty. So that might be something that's more, 7-day, 30-day that we look at. But really the most notable one here that I'm looking at is Ape's Kids Club, which we'll get into real briefly, but just absolutely skyrocketing over the last couple days. And checking it right
We
now.
called this. We call this. This is one of those projects with community support from the one of the, if not the largest community on the planet. They love companions for their NFTs. These were really well done, a unique style. It wasn't just shrunken down apes, and you you often see a hype project like this pull a lot of the gains forward before its reveal and then it dumps and people are like, well, it was a derivative, was that anything? We thought this one was going to have legs, and I'll tell you, I'm seeing them everywhere. I'm seeing these little babies in a lot of PFPs.
Yeah, this one, it was hard to get your hands on a mint out of it. And then after the drop, it was like, if I recall correctly, hovering around like the 0.2, 0.3 mark. And that's always a tough region to buy in. I don't want to say it's a coin flip. Obviously, the not baby apes, the Apes Kids Clubs looked good. Well, I mean, we're already in the conversation, so yeah, they looked good, and it was kind of on that precipice. Like if there's a bet, apes, especially projects adopted by the apes and kind of given the green light or the thumbs up approval by like Bored Apes and whatnot, tend to do pretty well. But buying in that range can be pretty tricky. It does seem like in hindsight that would have been a great buy at 0.3, but a lot of projects kind of stall out there and hit a bit of a rut around 0.3, and then they can pretty quickly dip back down as volume dies. But Ape Kids Club is killing it. It'll be fun to watch how high that can go, especially as I believe the Bored Apes or Desperate Apes Wives Club. Well, this one, I don't know, but that one's doing just shockingly well as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I think if your knee-jerk reaction to derivatives is ew, it's a derivative, you're missing a huge part of this market. Shout out to Trish, who was one of our audience members who had this really cute little pink one. In his profile picture, they're unique, they look good, and I do think these are going to have legs.
Yeah, looking at the
Not in the
audience.
PFP, they're you only see the upper half of them.
Nice to see some of the people turn their ears away from the Syn City chat and join us here on the stage too. But yeah, Trish has a good one.
We now have only 11. Let me see. I think a little like 14. I think at peak there was maybe 40 people trying
15
to solve
people
this
in the
riddle.
voice chat
So
right now.
big
Yeah.
shout out to everyone still in there sacrificing their brains and times to get us all Guelph.
So yeah, just switching back to WGMI real quick on that 30-day change. If it's of interest to you, Sandbox is doing incredibly well. No surprise there, up about 30%, or sorry, 320% on the month. Rumble Kong League is doing well. Bears Deluxe, as we've mentioned, is doing really well. It's over 100%. And Doodles actually has had a nice run up too. It's sitting at about 2.5 ETH floor right now. Up 100%. And yeah, we'll.
That's my pick for the next 10E story. It just reminds me of Cool Cats or even Bored Apes when they were first making that run towards 10E. There'll be some bumps. It could take a little bit, but Doodles has the zhuzh.
Yeah, it's got an it factor, that's for sure,
Yeah.
and it's one of those ones that you see in the profile pictures, and the derivatives have done very well too. The soda is one that we should
Yeah.
probably circle back on sometime soon, see how it's doing. But I see some of those in the audience as well. So,
Maybe
yeah,
the most derivable, is that a word? The most derivatable project I would say is Doodles. Everything looks great in that style. I mean, we like you said, the sodas look cool, and we've seen so many derivs that really nail it with that Doodle style.
yeah. When are we gonna get the mutant ape doodles, the moodles?
Yeah, I know. I'm sure they're out there already. And here's quite a specific shout out to Agmar, who's been on the
Oh
Syn
my
City
god.
voice chat for like 24 hours straight. I mean, just leading the way, and we thank you for your service, sir. We will be watching that with bated breath still today.
Yeah, well, we're gonna touch on that, I guess at the end of the show, but pretty incredible the dedication that Agmar and a bunch of other people have put into trying to solve this. And I'll probably get in after the show and kind of poke around and see what was happening too. I had some fun, but I can't. It takes a lot out of you for sure. The only other thing I noticed on this 30-day change as I pulled it up was just that Mutant Apes, Bored Ape Yacht Club, and Bored Ape Kennel Club in the last 30 days are basically like tethered to each other for terms of growth. It's like they move through the market with each other. Bored Ape being up 60% as they look towards the flippening, and Mutant Apes up 65, and Bored Ape Kennel Club up 55. So they're all within a pretty tight range of each other
If
as they've
you
moved.
if you can't afford an ape, you buy a mutant. If you can't afford a mutant, you buy a dog. And it's people want access to this club. Uh, Whereas most projects would be accused of diluting their brand and putting too much supply out there just does not seem to be enough entries into this yacht club.
Yeah, I think there's probably some interesting like leading and lagging indicators that you could probably pick up on there too. Like if Bored Apes starts to maybe take a bit of a dump after that floor runs up, and Mutant Ape hasn't done it yet. Like if you have some Mutant Apes that you're not like actually attached to, might be like something to watch, right?
Yeah, and my sources, and by sources I mean people on Twitter who try to pull Easter eggs out of the roadmaps, have indicated that some sort of utility or announcement is coming for the Kennel Club next. So I also think that's another reason the dogs are getting a bid. So if you do want the lowest entry point into Bored Apes, that would be their kennel club. And I hear there is utility coming for the puppies soon.
Yeah, 2.7 floor right now. So they've done pretty well for themselves. That whole brand has really just dominated the market in the last 30 days, that's for sure.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk Rusty Hogs. Probably the last time we'll end up talking about Rusty Hogs, but I thought there were some interesting topics that we can kind of extract from this whole conversation, and that was just that they did their public mint, not going according to plan right now. One of the annoying things about this is that they don't even have their OpenSea link on on their website, which is just frustrating.
And there's 10 fake Rusty Hog collections. So it's like if you are new to this, you could easily screw up.
Yeah. Yeah, a project that is dedicated to, putting their official links out there and being very visible is one that I think is at least a good start, and not doing that strikes me as weird. That wasn't where I was going with this, though. I did find that the OpenSea link unrevealed right now. Only 500 of them have minted. Floor is sitting below mint price 0.075, and that is a lot of times the death knell for a project. Once it becomes cheaper to buy on secondary and that capitulation starts happening, the incentivization to mint becomes very low, and the mint stops happening, and the capitulation happens further. They're in a bit of a death spiral right now. I know a lot of people like the team, liked what they're about. The art is pretty good. I've got nothing against them there. But one of the frustrating parts of this, and I have no stake in the game, is just that, one, they didn't really acknowledge the fact that this wasn't going according to plan. I saw an announcement that said, guys, don't worry, we're just putting our heads down and working away. Like, that's great. You should be doing that. But you also need to understand that, people are spending money on this as, not only being part of a community, but it is, for some people, it's a speculative investment. And they want to see the team reacting appropriately to this. So, we talked about maybe they cut the mint price in half. Maybe they, airdrop one free one to everybody that's already minted to kind of counterbalance the price drop. There's lots of different stuff you could do. Yeah, it's getting pretty dicey for that project. So first we'll talk about your take on that, and then I think we'll get into the discussion about maybe what went wrong.
Yeah, I've been pretty hard on them, even though I think the art is decent. And people want to talk about how this next cycle will be different. Well, I think you need more than one core competency. So even if your art is good, it's not going to be enough. Even if your model is good, it's not going to be enough. You have to fire on all cylinders to succeed in this market. People talk about, oh, is pixel art dead? Is 3D art coming out of that? I don't even think that matters. It's about being quality now on every metric. So to kind of be a contrarian in the sense that I've been very hard on them, I'd like to hope that this isn't the last time we talk about this project. There are some moves they could make right now to save it. But to your point, when the pre-sale was not moving at all, they were not making announcements like, hey guys, we see what's happening. We are concerned too. Don't worry. We are going to make moves and adjust to it. It was anything not sold in pre-sale is going to public. They acted like nothing was wrong, even though this was a 100% whitelisted project that had sold out 20% of its supply.
Which is surprising given their propensity to make announcements regarding everything else.
God, I mean, the one thing with this Discord, they pinged you anywhere from 4 to 6 times a day for nothing. For giveaways and contests, OG booster rolls, and announcements that meant nothing, that really were not important. I remember DigiDragons used to have a channel called Minor Announcements, and every time they put a minor announcement in there, they pinged everyone. Well, that's not a minor announcement. You're now making it a major announcement by pinging everyone. We all know if you ping people too much, eventually they stop listening to the pings. It's like crying wolf, right?
As AlphaMint just pings everybody, as I just saw the...
Everyone just got a ping from us. The to reduce your signal to noise ratio is everybody's goal. You're on Discord and Twitter looking for alpha, right? So these alerts should be very pertinent and should only have to do with if minting is starting, if you're making a major announcement about your structure, if something crazy has happened. You should be very, very, very measured in how you use pings. And Rusty Hogs were nuts. And the 1 8 hour spurt in the last 2 months that they did not ping everyone 16 times was when their sale went public. And all of a sudden, nothing was selling. You expected, for these guys to be so emotional and tweeting every stupid thought that came into their head up until this, and all of a sudden they go radio silent once their mint goes public. It was unfortunate to see.
Yeah, let me build on that a little bit.
Sure.
Yeah, so this is a really good indicator for like the broader NFT market and projects that you're looking at. And the signal to noise ratio, like as we said, there's a lot of noise in NFTs. Everybody's trying to filter through a absolute fuck ton of information all of the time. And your Discord that you have, if you get excited about seeing that little red 1 pop up because that means something's happening, that's an indication that it's, 1, a good project, and 2, they're managing their notifications properly. If you don't look at that Discord for 2 or 3 days and all of a sudden there's 25, 30, God forbid, more than that, notifications on there. Now you have to go in there, and they're all in the general. They're all spread out through 8, 9, 10 different channels, and you got to go seek out that information. Not a good way to consolidate information. You do not need to have an at everybody on Twitter. On your Twitter posts, right? You have a bot that posts your Twitter to your Discord channel. You don't need that to go to everybody. If I'm following you on Twitter, I can turn those notifications on myself if I really deem them necessary. But you know what? When you get all of this, you're never going to know when the mint's going live. You're never going to know when something changes. You're never going to know when an important piece of announcement comes out. I don't want to see more than, 2 or 3 a day, and that's as long as it's pertinent information, right?
Well, I'll tell you. Let me give an example of a Discord that really did it right. Okay, orcs, right? This was something we all anticipated so we were just waiting for this game and announcements were so rare. You almost never got a ping. When a ping came up on orcs, you dropped everything and ran over to the announcements, right? And I mean, think about that. You need to ascribe value to that red 1 that pops up on your Discord, and if you abuse it, nobody's gonna listen to you. It could literally be what did in the Hogs. Think about that. Over weeks and weeks of pinging where people just start ignore. I know I ignored them. Remember, it got to a point where they said we're going to start taking OG roles away from people who don't engage in the Discord. One reason I don't go engage in a Discord is because it annoys me. And the other reason is because you have too many channels. So think about that.
Here's a for instance, right? Like I haven't been in the Kaiju Discord in quite some time, and there's nine pings on there. Like I could go in there, it's all under announcements. I could go quickly get caught up if I wanted to. That's pretty
rare.
Pretty manageable.
Rare, they ping everybody.
Galactic Apes is one that's done a bunch of that. And by the way, if you have a Galactic Ape, they've really upped their community engagement, and they're going hard on getting people into white lists and partaking in that. But yeah, like back to the original point, it is just important to treat people's clicks with respect, right? And that being said, hey, like if you guys don't want us to ping you every morning for the AM show, and like by all means, that feedback can happen too. Like if you think that that's a waste of a red circle there, like we could take that criticism as well. Like we're all good for that too. But it's important because there are some Discords that I don't look at simply because it's almost like it almost gives me anxiety to know that I'm going to have to go in there and search for 30 different pings and figure out what the pertinent information is, especially if it's not a Discord that I'm active in on a regular basis. So I just thought that was interesting. I thought that that was something that can be learned from for future projects. And, I don't want to say that it was solely the reason why Rusty Hogs is struggling, but it might be a contributing factor. And it definitely does sway how I feel about projects that I'm waiting for.
Yeah, I mean, I can't, assume what everyone else was doing, but if I look at my own behavior, what caused me to ignore that Discord was the amount of pings. And if I had ignored it less, would I have been more excited about the drop? I mean, I don't know. It's just, it can be a
I
contributing
got to
factor.
believe the answer would be yes. I mean,
Yeah.
it might
Yeah.
not have overcome the fact that they didn't their first contract wasn't a mint contract and it was a send money to said address contract. That was tough, right? Like
Classic. Rug your own damn self.
well, I'm gonna take the less funny route. It was a really it was it was a bad mistake,
Yes.
and it does definitely causes a loss of interest. But yeah, let's see where it goes. Maybe they can turn it around.
Right. Wait,
They
look.
have options.
Yeah, I was gonna say, go over it. We talked about it yesterday, right? Reduce supply and price. Very simple. Airdrop to the people who paid 0.08, reduce to 0.04, and kill supply. Make a time limit. Say we're burning supply in 12 hours for whatever's not sold.
If this was 0.025,
They'd
and
sell out, and they'd sell out immediately.
I would go mint them.
I would too. The
Now
team
I don't know
probably would
how
hate hearing
everybody.
that.
I don't know how everybody would that minted at 0.08 would feel, and if they were all airdropped four of them, then the supply would almost be gone.
They'd feel better than it goes to zero because the team did nothing.
I gotta believe that. Yeah, I gotta believe that. Give them some kind of OG role that will entitle them to something else in the future. I don't know. I don't know. Like in terms of that, or drop it to 0.04, even 0.04. I would think about it. If so, yeah. If there's 500 minted right now, and every single person that minted got a 1-for-1 airdrop of another Rusty Hog. Now we're sitting at 1,000, and there's 2,000 left to mint at 0.004. I like them enough that I would probably do that. But this death
I'd grab
spiral
two.
that they're in,
Sure.
I don't blame anybody for not touching them at this point. So,
Yeah, you can. I mean, yeah.
anyways, I just wanted to bring that up, not because we're like obsessed with talking about Rusty Hogs, but it was an interesting conversation about like when you're looking at Discords and stuff like that, how they manage their hype, their announcements, their information, how they treat your time with respect or whatnot can be a pretty big, factor.
I think it's so interesting because if you're not experienced and you look at this project, it looks like they're doing everything right. No, it has a token, it's gamified, it's the right meta, it's pixel art. I mean, when someone sees a project like this fail, if they're not making a nuanced take, they're going to say, well, pixel art is dead, or, oh, the NFT market is dead. No, when you look under the surface here, there was a lot. There's so much that's not obvious that contributes to a project's success. And that's why Rusty Hogs is so interesting to us, I think.
Yeah, it's a good case study for sure. One thing I want to touch on before we get to Syn City was the Matt Cain art blocks. We did touch on that yesterday, and if there was one takeaway looking back 2 days later, never underestimate the power of art blocks curated, and if you see it minting down for as low as 0.25,
My God.
not financial advice, but just mint that fucking thing. Oh my God. Like we were yesterday seeing it sit at a 0.4, or sorry, not 0.4, 4 ETH floor. They were getting scooped up by everybody and anybody. And here's the important thing to remember about Art Blocks Curated, and it's something that's pretty easy to forget. People like Kazomo, people like 888, Pranksy, like these guys, Pranksy will mint a little bit, but when it comes to Art Blocks Curated, they want to see all of these shake out. They want to go and handpick the ones that they want as part of their own curated collection, and they will spend on it. This is really, really important to remember that. Like, sure, Pranksy could mint, 10 of them at 0.25, but Pranksy doesn't want 10 random ones. Pranksy wants that one that looks great. 888 wants that one that he's going to put on his wall. Kazomo wants that one that he wants to flex and tweet about how he just picked up the nicest AB curated by Matt Cain. The writing was all on the wall here, and I will be the first to admit that like I neglected it too. I wasn't around for the mint, but all the signs were there that this guy is followed by the who's who of the NFT community, and here we are sitting about it 2 days later, and it was an absolute cook. And at the end of the day, like I don't know if you agree with this or not. I guess it doesn't even really matter what they look like because they're not the greatest ones I've seen.
I think the FUD on art blocks is ridiculous and just a symptom of most people trading these things having been in this world for 2 or 3 months. All right. Gen art and art blocks have been left for dead after being called the blue chip of blue chips for I don't know how many months, and how it was the ultimate, flex and goal, and everyone wanted to trade up into a squiggle. None of that's changed. Like, it's ridiculous the amount of FUD that's out there. Art blocks is always going to be, like you said, okay, with Gen art collections. 20% that come out are going to be trash. They're going to be floors, and one day when people own them, it'll just be to say they own something from that collection. But you're going to get these high net worth collectors go shopping for the ones that are aesthetically pleasing to them. Art Blocks puts a lot of work into deciding which ones are curated, and they tend to knock it out of the park. All you are seeing is the froth from conventional hedge funds and VC firms starting to get into NFTs. That froth needed to be worked off, and that's what you're seeing right now. They're going to come back and support their bags. I will keep saying that till it happens, and you can call me crazy until then.
Yeah, I got to agree with it, and it's like one of these things. I'm just gonna drill into my own head. Like if I see an Art Blocks curated mint happening at that price, like just going for it, just going for it. Like obviously you got to be liquid. I don't, I'm not at the point where I'm going to be splashing around with like a two ETH on the Dutch auction market for it. But if it ever drops that low again, like I'm picking one up and I'll let the chips fall where they may. But Art Blocks curated just continues to be. It just continues to rip. Like it just always does well. I think the only one that kind of faltered was the Scoundrels. And maybe left something to be desired there, but
And everything wanes after it peaks, and people love to just post FUD of like someone who paid 53 for an art block selling it for 20. Oh my god, like a 33 loss, like blah 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 blah. But this means nothing about the underlying long-term bullish prospects for Gen Art or art blocks.
Art Blocks is killing it. All right, last but not least, the big topic of Alpha Mint yesterday, Syn City, the second wave of their kind of riddle puzzle game was going on. They just threw it out there, and it was like almost 12 hours before many, like the broad stroke of people picked up on it. And it was just done with a coordinated, like 5 Twitter accounts, dropped some tweets. And basically it's a page that's asking for 3 answers. Answers to what? Nobody knows. That's part of the allure of it, I guess. But, as we mentioned before, Ogmar's been up for 24 hours trying to do this. And for good reason, honestly. And this is where it gets a little bit tricky because a lot of people are getting very frustrated. A lot of people are throwing their hands up and saying this isn't, this isn't worth it, and that's fair. It could be very mentally taxing, and it kind of like starts to creep into your normal life where you just start seeing patterns and pictures and writing on the wall and whatnot. But right now, or last I checked, sorry, I'm going to pull up the page in a second, but the mint passes that you could do, and this is a free mint, were worth 3.5 ETH. So for solving this riddle and getting your hands on one of these, you could net a cool $16,000 if I'm doing my math correctly. And, for a room like Alpha Mint where there's 30 people sitting in there trying to figure this out, like we're talking 110 ETH on the line. So it's hard because is that worth it? Like at the end of the day, yeah, like it seems crazy, but like, you know, it's been a real big point of contention, and there's been a lot of talk about like how much is too much. Are they making it too hard? Were other ones just too easy? Is the floor price of this baked into the fact that like these riddles are so hard and they're so hard to get their hands on? Like there's a lot going on here, a lot to unpack. I'm interested to hear what you think about it so far.
Well, I would think that if a large group like Alpha Man or one of the other alpha groups, you know, trying to crack this got in, of course the floor would fall because people would start selling the ones that they got. But I do think that it has the premium because for better or for worse, and whatever this thing is, it's being billed as some sort of Neo Tokyo 2.0. And I don't know why, and it could be right. This seems to be gangster themed. I'm hoping somebody, I know most of them are still down there in VC, but if somebody wants to come up and go over the fine details, hint, hint, Dark Illidan, then that would be cool. But basically, there were some clues that were left on various web pages connected to this project. 17 gangster movie quotes that people spent much of the last day finding everything out about, from the gangsters they portrayed, the cities they were from, to the actors who played them, and have tried typing in so many combinations into this three-answer form, excuse me, that I mean, people are going nuts. It seems very unsolvable, as while we've basically sorted all the clues, I don't know if there's been any progress on that. I don't know if anyone has come up with a better answer or theory than what, you know, the basically putting in, you know, a gangster's name or a place where they're from. There are some very, very large investors behind this project, which I guess is why it's getting this Neo Tokyo nod. And I think it's going to continue to dominate the metaverse until it's solved. Like you said, this is a large pool of money. It is very tedious work. It's a lot of work, but the reward it is just. And I think I think we'll see whether it ends up being another Neo Tokyo or not. But certainly, I think that's a free 3E if you crack it, right?
Yeah, pretty much. The floor is sitting at 4 ETH right now, but you know, a couple of them are being peeled off for WETH or offers at 3 ETH. But yeah, God, you know, and the thing is, this is just the second wave of 4. Like, if this is how hard that the second wave is, like, what do they have in store for the third and fourth wave? You know, I know that they've got on and kind of maybe dropped a couple of extra teasers. Now, if you check the contract, there has been a couple of mints that have gone through. Last I heard it was 2, but somebody can correct me if I'm wrong about that. But do you think that this is just a false flag here? Like, I don't. How could somebody have gotten through all of that and, one, not only not spilled the beans, but 2, not started making new accounts left, right, and center, and just keep minting these suckers out?
Yeah.
They disclosed those 2 mints. Yeah, Dark Illidan is kind of filling me in. Illidan, are you able to actually just talk right now? Do you want to just... Oh, they hacked the early codes. Okay, interesting. I didn't catch up on that. See, there's so much going on, and obviously this has become a 24/7 affair that, like, yeah. It's...
Well, you know, I think where there's a lot of frustration is even sussing out the clues felt like work, right? Like, normally the amount of work it took to suss out those clues, you would have just typed the clues into the box and that would have been the answer, right? With this, it's like, all right, you did all that work to even find the clues. Now put them all together. You know, like, it's like, are you kidding me? It's please, Dark, take it away. Tell us what's going on in Syn City.
Everybody is losing brain cells by the second. What's happening?
Yeah.
Has there been any progress?
Yeah, there has been some progress. I mean, I can't spill the beans on what we're doing and stuff too much, obviously, but there has been progress, but the progress always feels like, one step forward, two steps back, because there's so much information out there. You always second guess like what you're doing. So yeah, it's hard. It's a challenge. It's a challenge.
Yeah, it was without getting too specific on the clues. They were essentially hidden, right? In different places. So it wasn't even they gave you obvious clues. They were completely hidden and you had to I mean, just organizing the clues took half a day,
Well, it
it
was to
felt
the
like.
point where
Yeah,
people didn't even know the
I
game
mean,
had started yet.
the clues were you could find them, like you could kind of figure out where to start, but so few people made progress that they decided to put out new information saying we're going to make it easier for you guys, and so everybody kind of paused for I think like 2 hours or 3 hours or whatever while they were doing that. And then they tweeted something out, and everyone was super excited, like, all right, great, we can fucking figure this thing out now. And went to the page and went, oh, well, I mean, this doesn't really help, but okay, it's a little bit of help. And not much progress has been, not much easy progress has been made since then, I should say. So
Wow.
yeah. There has
So
been progress, but it's no specifics.
I think to me,
Not real
I
bad news.
gather well, of course. I gather what's really interesting here is that they actually seem to have a game ready to go.
Yeah,
This is going
yeah,
to be P2E, I assume. Do you know anything more about it?
yeah. So the game is meant to be play to earn, but I personally do think that this could be bigger than Neo Tokyo because Neo Tokyo is like NFT only in a way, right? And
Mhm.
Alex Becker's a shill and he's got a bunch of followers and all that, sure, but he hasn't actually built a fucking game. Whereas, like, these are like, if you look at who's behind this, they know
Mhm.
what they're doing. They have a good history. They have the backing, and yeah. So, like, funnily enough, though, Alex Becker and Elio Trades are both investors in this thing as well. But this is like a real game. It's a proper full-on real game that you'll be able to play and has been in development for quite a while. Also, Binance is doing an IGO for them tomorrow, which I assume is launching their shitcoin. And launching a shitcoin on Binance is not easy.
Oh
You
yeah.
uh, you need to be extremely solid to get your seat at that table. So
Interesting.
that tells me that this is going to attract a lot of people that play things like Axie and all the other shit that's out there that are not necessarily into NFTs, but they like crypto games and all that, right? So that's a pretty big reach. So yeah, I reckon this is bigger than Neo Tokyo. It's maybe not priced in yet, but
Ugh.
that's
Mm.
where I think it's going.
I actually wish we hadn't invited you up here because now I'm like, fuck, I'm gonna have to go back into that. And like, I'm in again. Like, I know what I'm doing
You've
for the next
drawn me
12
Also,
back
hours.
in.
I
I'm
mean,
like,
I
No.
mean, like aside from the fundamentals and pumpamentals and all that, from a pure mint perspective as well, right? Neo Tokyo's are 2K mint. This is 888, so it's like
Mhm.
half the supply. And you could argue that it has a bigger reach. So yeah.
well, anybody that's interested in hopping down with us and trying to contribute, that's in the Moon Lounge, let us know.
Yes,
But
yes, please come help us. Please
All
come help
hands
us.
on deck
yeah,
soon.
and you know what? It is kind of important just because like sometimes you can have a fresh take on it. Like you start to get tunnel vision on certain clues that might just be like
Yeah,
misleading and intentionally misleading. And
yeah.
somebody new can come in and just kind of assimilate all of that information in a new way and just see it differently. But yeah, I think it's absolutely worth working on. Like I said, it's a free mint, and if you get your hands on it, it's gonna you're gonna get about $50,000 and $20,000 out of this if it does, or even if it just continues to run up there.
Yeah.
But
I mean, the other thing is also like I think someone mentioned on the chat earlier. this is round 2 or 4, and if they're gonna get harder, I would like to already have my pass by then and just watch.
Yeah, there's part of me that's like listening to all of this go down and be like, damn, like I should just buy one of these. Like if that's as if the
Yeah, I mean,
difficulty, it's like the
if
the
people
mining
do that,
difficulty on Ethereum or something, like the difficulty goes up and
yeah.
but
I mean, that is also true, right? Because as this, starts getting more attention, the riddle's going to be harder, and there's going to be more people competing as
yeah,
well.
more demand. Yeah,
So, yeah.
doesn't actually seem like a terrible buy. I would rather just win one for free though, so gonna work on that a little
Yeah.
bit. Gonna hunker down.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, Sorry to on the comparison to Neo Tokyo as well. I would say that Neo Tokyo was definitely a lot easier than this.
Right. Well, I
At
mean,
least inspiration.
I didn't even know Neo Tokyo was supposed to have a game. I thought it was just one of these like 888 inner circle things that actually worked versus
No,
versus the inner circle.
it's kind of like it's meant to be kind of like loot,
Hmm.
where you like opened up a bunch of text based shit, and then I think it was 2 days ago you because you got the first thing, then you got which was your character, then
Yeah.
you got your loot bag, then you got like a property or something. There were like 4 things you got. And
Hmm.
2 days ago, you combined them all and uploaded, and you have like a full character with that actually has visuals and shit and a bunch of properties, and you'll be able to use them later on in the game. So yeah,
Cool. Cool. All right. Well, I think it's pretty obvious why people are so motivated to get this, even just beyond the $20,000. So AM is going to be all over that. We appreciate you filling us in, Dark.
yep, no worries.
Awesome, man. All right. On that note, I guess we will continue on with the Q and A. I see Cass has his hand up here, and we will bring him up on stage. Anything that you wanted to talk about? Kind of wrapping up the content segment of the show. Pre-market.
No. I think that's pretty much what I got for today. Though something's gonna pop into my head, so you'll ask me again after we speak to Sir Cass.
GM
GM,
Cass.
GM says.
Good
How you?
morning.
GM.
GM. How's everyone doing?
We're doing
Splendid.
great.
Good. First topic, which was the topic that you guys brought right at the beginning. In regards of Ethereum, what are your guys' thoughts on Ethereum 2.0? And the only reason why I ask it is every time I keep looking at my mining rig, that difficulty bomb keeps hurting me again and again and again. And from a miner's point of view, I don't see it being too far, but just wanted to see your take on it.
Yeah, I think that miners, I think one of the big reasons Ethereum crashed when it got up to 4,500 the first time is because a lot of miners threw in the towel. And this is, our time is over. We had a great run. Let's cash out our ETH and go on our way. And I think that we see all the memes about ETH2 being 30 years out or whatever. I think the thing people are most excited about with ETH2 is a process called sharding. I know that's an unfortunate term, but it should reduce the gas on L1 to Ethereum. But I do think, proof of work is gone and staking. It's not very profitable comparatively is going to be the way you're going to have to go going forward. As far as timing, I think it's been next June for 8. What I hear is next June.
I've got a
Grain of
feeling.
salt. Yeah.
I've got this feeling it's going to be a bit before that, but I can see June.
Man, hey.
June for proof of stake.
Yeah.
Yeah, for complete switch over to 2.0, in other words, sharding.
So about 6 months from now.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
it.
Oh, okay.
And I think from then, that's when Ethereum just going to go to the moon at that point.
Yeah,
Oh,
no,
if
I
you
mean, not to be bearish on it. I've just like, I bought my, I know there's people that have been in earlier than me, but like, I bought my first Ethereum in 2017 of summer, and proof of stake was 6 months away then. So
Yeah.
like, I'll believe it when I see it. But I think that I think it'll be good for it. I just, I appreciate their dedication to getting this right, if nothing else.
To be fair, I'm a bit like you are too, man. Like I am hoping like the myths of 2.0 coming for the past 3 years. Um, I really do hope it's the same thing, the same pattern. But I think even with this crypto market in general, where everyone is expecting the normal cycles to happen, I've just got this feeling that the normal cycle isn't going to happen, and we're going to go through a different cycle over the next couple of years.
Yeah, I mean, there's people that are calling for like a super cycle where the accumulation of Ethereum and Bitcoin has been markedly different than it was before. Before it was a lot of individuals loading up on this, and it was more speculative in nature. And now you're looking at large institutions that don't have trading mentalities. They're not buying and selling the dips, or taking on a lot of like margin or anything like that against their assets, and they're just buying and holding. And there have been a lot of individual like retail investors from 2017 who have been doing the same thing. It's setting a buy every week, every month for the past 4 years, and the aggregate of a whole lot of people doing this has locked up a lot of the supply as well. I just I don't I want to believe that you're right as well, and that this cycle is different. It does feel a little bit different. Um, Normally when those things ran up, like we took a big run up to 64,000 when Tesla bought a whole bunch of this, but we never hit euphoria. It dropped down. Everybody was kind of a little bit bummed. Most of the longer term crypto people just saw it as another Tuesday, and we marched right back up. And it wasn't like there were some big runs, but like it was just like a steady up and to the right march to where we are, you know, a week ago, or I guess Friday even. It took a dump then and again, and it found some resistance. It found some, or sorry, not resistance, support, and we're marching right back up again. And it just seems to just be this like very steady kind of long term trend of just like we're just going up. And I think it's because a lot of people have conviction in it now. I think a lot of people have built up this like, these are assets that I need to have. I don't want to sell my Bitcoin. I don't want to sell my Ethereum. I want to just have this for the future. And I think that the supply is very, very tight right now. And these little ups and downs are just that loose supply kind of shaking out into different hands.
No, I'd agree. I'd agree. Um, Also on the NFT space, two things. One, metal sticks. What's it called? Um, metal. Give me a second. Sharp metal sticks. Have you heard of it?
Nope, never heard of that one.
Right. So they've done this whole gaming thing with like Zeus and Dante, Devil and God. The team seem really, really, really solid. They completely doxed themselves recently, and very impressed. I think they've been in the gaming industry for about 10 to 15 years. But I think what the announcement that they put out today, which again really made me think, wow, it was an idea that I had prior to hand. So to see someone action it is like, oh my god. What they're doing is your gaming NFT or your NFT, which you'll be able to play in their play to earn metaverse. They are also giving you the functionality so you can actually rent your NFT out. So you can earn passive income by renting and then sorting out a percentage of how much someone has to pay for you, or percentage that of their earnings that they will give to the owner of the NFT, which I thought was really cool. I'll
How
put a
I feel
link.
about another man wearing my dick butt.
No, dude, you know what? The funniest thing is, yeah, when you're saying that, like, I feel you. I
I'm,
honestly feel you.
I'm
I
kidding.
honestly feel you because every single yeah, I get it.
Oh, Icon just mentioned it was that originally that 1122 Discord that kind of popped up where there was the news on the New Year's, and it's split up into Dante's army and Zeus's army. Okay, I am getting more into this. I actually haven't spent time digging into this, but it is ringing a bell now all of a sudden.
I
With
think I
that.
found I think I found it with you guys right at the beginning when I first started.
Yeah, it did float around a while ago. Yeah, I've been invited to join a server.
Yeah, I've just put it in the AM chat, the Discord. Um, yeah, so the announcement today was they are doing the whole renting mechanism for the NFT. So they're kind of asking, well, they're telling people or requesting for people to purchase more, so it'll be a good form of passive income. Um, but yeah, that was really interesting. And another take I wanted to get off you guys was Zen Apes. What's your thoughts on it? Because the littles love the idea, love the concept, and and the people that are backing them, and I think it's just going to be groundbreaking. But with Zen Ape, it just seems I don't know. I tried to read up on it, and it seems very Zen. So just wanted to know your guys' thoughts on it. To be fair,
Not just a clever name.
no,
Yes, I think I need to look more at the project. I thought it was going to do well just based on who is running it and who is supporting it. It is a Kong's Tank project. What is their very short summary, their basic roadmap?
the basic roadmap just seems we are Zen, and we look after everyone, and everyone is Zen. And
So they haven't made any announcements about like games or interoperability or a token or anything?
nothing really, no, nothing. It
Huh.
just seems like we're gonna give real. It seems very community orientated, and seeing some of the mods that jumped on, especially for Mutant Cats, because I think 3 mods for Mutant Cats jumped over and decided to work with them, and those guys were very community orientated people.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, they went for the whole Zen is peace. We are all Zen. We will look after each other. We will, collaborate with each other. We will look after you in Zen ways possible. So that's where I kind of weren't sure about it, because it was like, okay, if it's a community that you're asking me to pay for, I'm okay in Alphamin, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
So what else have you got? And the only reason that I was gonna ape in was because of the whole Kong tank, because them and littles, coming out of the Kong tank, you'd think, okay, you must have kind of propped an idea to these guys for them to make to endorse you, so to say. So, but I'm still trying to figure out that reason why to endorse them. But yeah, I thought I'd ask a question.
I would have to look more into it. I really don't know much about the project. I just assumed it was a game and they had tokenomics.
The
Yeah,
Zen Ape.
same.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, like I'm trying to pull up some information here. The one thing that's frustrating to me is like in their OpenSea, they have a link to the website that they haven't updated. That it still says the whitelist, so it just takes you to a 404. Just like finding information needs to be easy, but yeah. So like their vision is like a monkey council. I don't know. Like just it didn't. I don't know. It didn't really resonate with me. Like I
No, it
just
didn't with me. It didn't with me, and I was just wondering. So I'm sitting on the fence thinking, will it be? Will it not be? And in the end, I just thought, nah. Do you know what? If it goes to the floor, then I might just scoop a couple just for
Mhm.
Zen purposes. But bar that, nah.
not to fud
Uh,
any bags, but the fucking font on their website is so hard to read too. Like,
I'm not fudding. It's
Worst
just
thought I've heard today.
is it? Yeah, gonna their font choice sucks. Sell. No, please don't think that. But
You're so gentle. I don't want to FUD anyone, but
yeah, I'm not trying to be mean, but they probably could have chosen a better font for it. No, like I'm just struggling to read it. It's frustrating.
twas the font that
I have to
killed
like
the
zoom.
king.
I'm zooming in like an old person, like 200%. And I'm like, oh yeah, there I can make it out now. No, I don't know. Like I think the Littles is a great project. I don't know. Zen Ape had like the good art and it had some hype. The mint was very very gassy, and I mean it's doing fine. But in terms of the actual in depth project, it's not one that really caught like me as like something I want to hold long term. So I didn't spend too long looking into it. If I'm being honest with you.
I don't blame you. And I did a little bit, then I left it, then I came back to it when I saw the price kind of come down to see if it was worth jumping into. And I'm trying to find a reason, and I'm not seeing it. So that's why I thought I'd ask you guys. Yeah, I think that's me for today, man. Like always a pleasure. Thank you very much.
Yeah, of course.
And you guys keep doing you, man. And hey, here's a question. Any news on that wonderful project that I keep banging on about?
Which was that?
Star Wolves, yeah.
Yeah. That thing, man. Have you guys heard anything from them? Maybe I don't know. Just wondering.
I believe if we leak any Star Wolves news on the show, we will be sacrificed to the Mother Wolf, and that has put the fear of God in my heart. So, leaks will come when they are authorized. They are coming soon. There is going to be Star Wolves info coming, but not today. Wait with bated breath.
The old announcement of an announcement. Nice.
I know. I was forced into it, but it had to be done.
Your hands were tied, yeah.
My hands were tied.
Bye, guys. I will leave you guys to it. Thank you for another wonderful show,
Thanks,
man.
buddy.
All good.
Yeah.
All right. I think on that note, we could probably wrap it up too. I would imagine there's probably lots of people that are excited to get back into doing the Syn City chat. So
we don't want to keep you from your guelph.
Yeah, no, I'm going to jump in there and see where we're at and see if we can have some fun with it and figure this thing out. But if there's anything else you want to finish with,
there is a cool project called Invisible Friends. I think I brought it up on voice chat yesterday. I don't remember if I brought it up on the show. I am just going to drop the link to this Discord in the general right now, and I think that it has very Doodle-esque feel to it. Not the art, but just the way that the hype is ramping up and who is whitelisted on the project. So I just want to drop that in there. It's not early. There is no easy way on the whitelist, but this feels like one it could be worth getting into the gas war for. So keep an eye on that project, and good luck at the table.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks so much. And as always, we do record the show on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify. If you miss anything or want to catch up on past episodes, they are all up there for your listening pleasure. And on that note, we're out.